Hello friends, welcome to Nirmal Bang. I am Piyush Jain and today we are going to do a corporate conversation. A conversation with a company which has decades of legacy. Recently the results were announced and the company is showing a new promising uptrend in the results. The question perhaps will be as a follow-up question to our last conversation with the company management is that the results have been and how's the trend looking on a sustainable basis. So without further ado, let me introduce the company. The company is BSL Limited. And now let me welcome the management, Mr. Nivedan Churiwal, the managing director of the company. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to meet you.
So let's take a look at the numbers here, the June quarter numbers, and the numbers actually are showing absolutely divergent uptrend here. We saw last year again. Basically, the numbers were trending somewhere around 112 cr. Again, we took in the March quarter around 120 cr, and now in the June quarter we are seeing the numbers around 160 cr, and that's a big delta, big jump. We almost are talking about 40% plus jump in the revenue. When we go to the gross profit, that's a 20% plus jump in the gross profit. Perhaps margins has slightly declined, and we'll discuss the reasons for that. But still, gross profit is now into 70s. We're talking about EBITDA again. The EBITDA basically has grown by 40% plus, in line with the revenue growth, and the net profit basically has shown a slightly different trend versus revenue. But let's first focus on the revenue here. Help us understand, sir, what has really started firing up? Is it a new capacity, new orders, or something different has happened?
So yes, it's overall I would say it's been a fairly good quarter, and wherein we have achieved our highest sales uh, for any quarter in the history of the company, and from range of 110 to 120, which is where we used to be, we have touched 150 crores quarterly sales for the first time, and I can assure you, quarter and quarter this should only improve. The second quarter we're looking at 175-80 crores. And as you rightly mentioned, EBITDA has also increased sharply to almost 50-60 crores. And similarly, our cash profit is also around 8 crores. So there's a slight dip in the PAT. Now I'll explain this whole thing. So the main reason for the growth is that one, of course, we have been able to sustain and have uh, marginal growth across all our segments. And majorly the cotton spinning project, which we had envisaged almost 18 months ago, finally kicked in and we started commercial operation from the 1st of April. And so that has contributed to a sale of almost 40 crores. So that, of course, has been the major contributor to this growth in the top line. And overall, the company has done fairly well, which is reflecting in the growth in EBITDA and cash profit. As far as PAT is concerned, well, the new project obviously comes in with its share of higher interest and depreciation. And as we all know, that cotton prices and the cotton industry is a cyclical industry, and it's at an all-time low. So to say, at least in the last few years, we've never seen such a low in terms of prices and extremely poor margin. So that is affecting our PAT, clean PAT, because of which it is slightly lower than what it was. But overall, I'm very confident that quarter and quarter you will see improvement in top line in EBITDA, and going forward, our PAT will also increase. And this growth trend that you're seeing in BSL for the past 2-3 years shall continue to reflect in all our results.
Right, sir. So the reason for on an absolute basis, the EBITDA margins had slightly dipped. The reason was primarily cotton prices.
No, the EBITDA margin has not dipped. The EBITDA has increased by almost 40-45%.
Oh,
The
versus
only
the last year. Oh, I correct myself. Versus the last year,
okay,
20
versus
basis
last year, yes.
margins
Last year
improved.
it was around, yeah, last year it was around 11. It was upward of 11, and this
Yes.
year it is slightly below 10%. So, yes, the reason mainly is that this is the first one, the interest depreciation in cotton has all come in, and the prices of cotton, raw cotton are at rock bottom, but the yarn prices are even lower, and the margins are extremely low. So because of that, primarily the EBITDA is slightly lower, and also some of our other businesses, like in a furnishing business, which is heavily IKEA dependent. And this situation in cotton is because of the situation in the Western European markets where there's a historical slowdown because of the Ukraine-Russia crisis. So even other businesses wherever our sales are Europe dependent, such as the furnishing and IKEA business, there has been a slight slowdown in sales. So overall, putting all these factors together, I think we've had slight dip in the EBITDA, but we have from the very outset we've been very clear that our goal is to 12% EBITDA for the year, and we're very confident that next 2-3 quarters we'll be able to make up with this deficit, and we should end the year at around 11 to 12% EBITDA.
Noted, sir. Just one housekeeping question. Between gross margin and EBITDA margin, there is a different trend here. Gross margin last year was around 52%. 59 CR was the gross profit, margin was 52%. This year, June quarter, gross profit definitely 71 CR. Gross margins are 41, 44%. So there is a dip of gross margin, but in EBITDA margin, that is covered. EBITDA margin is higher than the last year. So, in the gross margin, is it largely because of the lower yarn prices, which you were just alluding to?
This is that's majorly the yarn prices, and
Sure.
the yarn prices have fallen across the board. It is not just in cotton. Even our synthetic spinning and viscose spinning, there also our margins have dipped substantially. So the dip in margin across the spinning industry, and even the effect in our furnishing business, and to some extent the domestic business was also slightly.
And, and sir, according to you, what has been the global reason for that? Because this is a globally traded commodity.
See, the yarn business, what happens is the bigger brands of the Western world in US and especially Europe, they place the orders to the knitters and the garment manufacturers in Bangladesh and Vietnam, and then they place the yarn orders on spinners like us. So the entire value chain, there's high rates of inflation. The Fed is increasing the rate. The Ukraine crisis has led to higher energy rates in Europe. So the availability, the savings of the average person, average household in US and Europe has been severely affected because of higher energy rates and these factors. So because of this, the demand from Europe and the overall Western world is extremely poor. And that is translating into all these things. Once the demand picks up, like for cotton yarn, I can tell you roughly the cotton yarn sales exports from India is down to almost 30-35%.
Okay.
High rates of energy, high rates of very high and unforeseen rates of inflation. These
Mm,
factors have combined to result in low purchasing power, low propensity to spend the average household in West, which is translating into lower demand, which is affected the entire supply chain, right from garment to makers to fabric manufacturers and spinners.
right, sir. So let's hope again the pricing trend improves. How has been the trend for the current exit a month, July, August? How's the September quarter so far?
Well, July has been pretty much on lines of the first quarter, but from August, I'm seeing some improvement, marginal improvement in cotton and overall yarn. Nothing significant. Probably the major improvement in yarn would come from September or probably from Q3. But as I've always mentioned, I mentioned earlier also, and I mentioned in all my other interviews, BSL is in a unique position, as in we are one of the most diversified textile mills that you can find in India. We have businesses across different verticals in fabrics and yarn. In fabrics, we have suitings, then we have furnishing. In yarn, we have synthetic spinning, worsted spinning, cotton spinning. In suitings, we have presence in the domestic market and export market. So it is spinning is one part of our entire operation. So I'm seeing substantial improvement or at least some improvement in all the segments from August. So everything put together, I'm pretty positive that August and September will be far better than the first 3-4 months. And net our Q2 would be much better than Q1 and Q3 because we already halfway through Q2 and we are seeing our order books and all for Q3. So I'm pretty sure that Q2 should be better than Q1 and Q3 would probably be better than Q2.
Okay, this sounds quite encouraging. Let's also talk about your cotton spinning project, where you have actually commissioned the project. Appears 700 tons per month. That's the incremental sort of volume coming up. You were alluding to it in your earlier statement. help us understand. And we also talked about it last time in our last conversation that perhaps a 200 crore plus delta in revenue could be coming up in FY24 because of
Right.
this project. So,
Right.
so give us some more color on what's the status, how's the monthly rate going there?
So, well, we started from April, and obviously the turnover picks up gradually. So, 14 crore, 15 crore. Now we reached a monthly sale of around 17, 18 crore, which at present prices is an optimum level. So, from July, we've been operating at full capacity, and I'm glad to inform you that within 3, 4 months, we have reached a stage where we are fully sold out for the next few months. So,
Oh,
our quality has been
that's
established. Customers have accepted our quality. Our order book is full. So, the only issue is price, which I mentioned is already started improving and should improve from here further. So, as of now, it would add about 200 crores of revenue for the company. But this is at when the raw cotton and yarn prices are at rock bottom, and which is at almost 50% of what it was in last 12 months ago. So, as the prices improve and the margins improve, I'm sure the revenue it might go up to 250 crores also. But broadly, it's well established, our quality is well established, and we're able to sell our entire production. So I think, given the early and nascent stage of this cotton spinning unit, I think we're in a fairly comfortable position, and it should improve going forward.
right. And I have a curious question here. And the question is usually when the prices are favorable for buyers, they flock to really buy in advance. And as you're just highlighting that the sort of a production is sold off, um, uh, as per you, for the full year till March, what are you hearing from clients? Are they booking in advance, multi-month, sort of in advance booking? What's the word of mouth coming from your clients in Europe, in USA, like in Asia? How is it looking like?
You mean overall across all product segments?
Yes, sir.
Well, demand has been slow in the first 3, 4 months of this financial year. There is no doubt that we have already been discussed, but it is picking up. You see, the customers place orders according to their convenience and benefit. So the order trend clearly, like in our IKEA business, we get a 52-week forecast. So every week we can see if the demand forecast is dipping, then it means it's a slowdown. If demand is increasing, it means it's picking up. So all these big brands place their orders based on their sales and how the situation is. And of course, even the dollar situation, like if the rupee is weakening, they will change the prices accordingly instantly. But other way around, it becomes slightly different. So they place the orders according to their requirement and their situation. So there's no such formula कि वो 3 महीने के booking करते हैं 6 महीने करते हैं. But at any point of time, we as a mill we feel that we should be fully sold out for the next 3 months given the long production cycle. And again, I'm happy to say that all our verticals, all our segments, right from yarn to furnishing to suiting, are fully sold out for next 3 months, which gives us a lot of comfort. And we are sold out round the year. We sold out round the year.
Oh, okay, great. One question, sir, I want to ask around depreciation and finance cost. One is depreciation, sir. The new plan is started. So, what sort of number of years we actually are following up in depreciation policy? Because depreciation has almost increased by 60 to 70%, and that is one of the reasons why actually there was a pressure on profit before tax. Is it primarily because of new facility?
Yes, obviously the depreciation, which used to be around 12 crores last year, 12, 13 crores, has increased to almost 19, 20 crores, which is because of the new facilities. So as I mentioned, the interest cost and the depreciation cost has increased substantially, and the corresponding returns against those segments of production have not started coming in, which is why, despite improvement in EBITDA and PBT, you're not seeing improvement in PBT and PAT level. But going forward, as it improves, you will see there. And yes, obviously, our depreciation has increased almost 70-80%, and so has the finance cost, which is very obvious. I mean, when you go in for such a big expansion, every company there comes in a point in the life cycle of every company where you take a quantum leap, where you want to go into a different orbit, which is what BSL has done in the last few months. From a company which was stagnant 10 years ago at 350 crores, then for 5, 7 years we were stagnant around 440, 50 crores. we have now taken a leap where we will be in the 700, 750 crores this year, and we plan to grow and expand further. So whenever we take this kind of a quantum leap, it is but obvious that the such ratios and the depreciation and finance costs are bound to go up, but it is all well planned. The debt repayment and everything is very well planned and it will be smoothly executed.
Okay. Perhaps my last housekeeping question. We talked about the operations, the new capacity, the revenue trend, the volume trend, the client commentary. My last housekeeping question, and that would be, what is the current net debt, sir, at the end of the June quarter, and overall during the year? Any plans of sort of paying back the net debt, gradual payback, but any plan of around that?
I didn't get the total debt.
Yes, sir. Total debt.
Total debt, including all the new term loans and the working capital, is somewhere around 330 crores. And so payback, there's a payback schedule according to which it will be repaid. The old repayment is continuing. We have an impeccable track record of paying all our service debt is very well serviced, and all repayments has always been on time. And so this year, the repayment will continue as per the plan earlier. For the new investment, there's a moratorium of 12 to 18 months. So the repayments will start somewhere around middle of next year or Q2, Q3 of next year. And based on that, we have an annual repayment of 22, 21, 23 crores, and it will be done absolutely on time. I have no doubts about that. Because you see, our cash profit is already very healthy. Last year itself, we had a cash profit of 35, 36 crores. And this year, with enhanced turnover and margin, we definitely have a much higher cash profit. So, repayment of 22 crores is not a problem at all. And if the situation permits, we could probably look at some prepayment, but it's too premature to comment on that. But if the situation permits, we would be probably happy to do so.
Sure. Absolutely, sir. Looks like the highlight of the quarter is that we are seeing a new trend in the revenue. We are seeing a healthy commentary on the orders, and that also implies perhaps BSL has already started FY24 on a very strong footing. So I think with that positivity, we would like to extend all the wishes to you for the September quarter. We'll again connect with you as always, and we'll sort of keep observing how the sort of business is developing. But for now, sir, thanks a lot for coming on the
Thank
show
you.
and giving all the information to our viewers.
Thank you. Pleasure talking to you again. Thank you.
And dear viewers, hope you enjoyed knowing about the BSL. For now, it's a wrap on the show.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from Nirmal Bang.